Not gonna lie, bit of a creepy red flag to start,
We're not gonna let that
but
slow us down.
can't stop us now.
Can't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Well, apparently everybody's dead.
Bitch. What?
Why?
Right. This was a fever dream. A weird,
Yeah.
drug-induced fever dream.
Explain it to you when you're old.
They want to break her.
Hello.
Look like he just rolled out of bed.
Every day.
It's not the best way.
Yeah, it's how I live my life, man. Sometimes you look like you just rolled out of bed because someone calls you super early in the morning when you're still trying to fucking
10
sleep.
o'clock.
On my day off. On my day off, bitch.
Usually you were texting me an hour before that. Good morning, sunshine.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm all right, existing, living life, mostly.
Making our way through October.
Almost done. Thank fucking God. The year's almost over.
Ghosts fly by. I don't know where I was going with this.
Sweet Jesus. I don't know where you go with half the shit that you say, so I just accept it and live here.
Move on.
And exist. Move on.
Life be life, and
If you can't tell, we're tired, guys. But not really.
it is that time of year.
It honestly, yeah.
That time of year.
But we're not gonna let that slow us down.
Can't stop us now. Can't stop, won't stop.
I can't stop.
We are making our way through our October books. And I'm not going to lie, I was really confused at this book. And I had to ask Crystal several times where and why it got here. Because I didn't know if it was a request, and if it was, if people just wanted us to sit and complain about bullying stuff because, that's what we do, or how it became. And then we realized what it was long, long ago, about a year
in
now.
a galaxy far away. That's Star Wars.
In a November far, far away. Crystal read a book. We read a book. And Crystal found it very amusing that a man produced a turkey
in his sack.
Yes. And so she did not even read the description of this book. It was just by the same author, and it said Halloween. So here we are. This week we read Ghosts of Halloween by Layla Faye. Yeah.
Sorry.
One of these days, we're going to read things thoroughly.
Nah, what's the fun in that?
We've been saying that for years now, but I'm holding out strong that one of these days we're going to learn.
We'll see.
Maybe. There is a trigger warning for this book. It includes death, murder, violence, suicide attempt that is graphic and on page, suicidal ideation, dubcom, essay trauma, essay attempt on page, grooming, degradation, daddy, a cock used as a pacifier, bondage, primal, ghost fucking, pain play, ass to mouth, dom sub play, shadow play, and knife play. I also want to say that I would have DNF'd this book if I had read it on my own. Many different times in many different ways.
Instead, she got stuck reading it.
And Crystal just got to DNF it on her own. And I want to stab a bitch sometimes.
We don't discuss that.
In 2026, nobody's DNFing anything that the other one doesn't agree on.
To be fair,
I know.
it's not.
I know.
Don't make me out to be that I DNF'd this
This
because
isn't
of
the
my
first one
personal
this year.
choice.
That's why I say that.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying, okay?
I know. It's okay. You got out on the better end of the deal.
Oh man.
So let's just dive in. We start our story with a prologue that is 2 years in the past. Someone named Jack is watching a woman named Harlow and her loser boyfriend.
But
Harlow
aren't
is
they all
20.
losers all the time?
Yeah,
It's a boy.
yeah. Harlow is 20, and Jack has been watching her since she was 16.
And that would
He's
have been the
6 years
first
older.
instance of,
Yep, than her, and not gonna lie, bit of a creepy red flag to start, and I would have DNF'd it.
yeah.
Tally one for me. Joop.
Oops.
Tallied on the wall. Thank you. Harlow has a prosthetic on her right arm and hand that her brother Noah got for her last year, and her boyfriend makes her feel weird and self-conscious about it. It makes Jack very mad. Noah and Jack work together, and he's been telling Jack to back off because the boyfriend is from a good family and can give Harlow a good life. The boyfriend ends up taking a call and then looks like he's leaving, so Jack heads across the street to see Harlow. He tells her she really needs to break up with Michael. She tells Jack to stop, that it's hard to find someone interested in her. Jack tells her he's not the only one that wants her. Harlow gets instantly angry and tells him to knock it off, that he always does this. He leads her on, but it's all a game to him. Jack grabs her by the hair and kisses her. She pushes him away, telling him to stay away from her. Jack tells her he loves her, that he's in love with her, and that he's asking her to break up with that fucker so she can be his. He only pretended to joke because of Noah, but he can't watch her be with half the town and not him. He'll tell Noah, don't worry. She asks him if he thinks she's a slut too. He says she is, but it's okay. He doesn't care who she's fucked, only that she's his when they're together. She starts to cry. He says he knows he went about it the wrong way, but even when he does, they can make up. And then he's going to kiss her and make love to her and treat her like a princess. It's okay. He talks about fucking her and how big his dick is, and she pushes him away further. He tells her how he knows she wants him as he walks away. And then he goes home, knowing where he can find her later. It's Halloween. She'll be at the haunted house that evening, and he'll find her there. The only problem is she doesn't show up. And in the end, he's thankful because when the night ends, her brother, Noah, is lying in a pool of blood. So then we're back in the present with the beginning of the book, and it's Halloween once again. And Harlow has been saving her pain medication for her arm for the last few months and suffering through it to store up for tonight. She steels herself and gets ready and heads to the same place where her brother met his end. It's not popular anymore after that night, and she knows she won't be disturbed. Once she's in the abandoned house, however, she finds she's not alone, and it's pitch dark, as someone or several someones lock her inside. She feels like it's spooky, like, how is it possible? But at first she thought it was haunted, but then she actually feels people. She tries to run for the back door, but just as she reaches it, someone slams it in her face. So clearly there's more than just one person messing with her in this house. Things are quiet for a moment, and she just strengthens her resolve and decides that she's not going to let whoever these weirdos are stop her from her original plan. She's ready, and what's the point? Her bag is still across her, and she ruffles through it and grabs her bottle of medication and takes them all, swallowing them down with the tequila she brought, and then grabs another bottle of medication to swallow those, just as it is slapped out of her hand. And then she feels something hit her head and everything goes dark. She wonders if the first bottle she took was enough. Bada bing, bada boom. Anyways, she wakes up with the taste of puke in her mouth, realizing that she failed. And then she takes stock of her body and realizes that her hands are tied behind her back and she's in some sort of rope harness suspended off the floor. And she's in a big empty room lit by candles. And then there's a shadow of a man and a voice asking if she slept well. And she just starts to cry with everything. Yeah, Crystal's like, nope. Big fat nope.
Yeah, I slept fine. Get out.
She just can't help it and says to let her go. And the voice says not to cry, not yet. And then a hand comes out and wipes tears off her face. It's too dark for her to see more than that, and he's coming up from behind her, and he tells her to breathe, even though his touch is somehow turning her on.
I just,
And then she like hyperventilates over that because nobody's touch does that to her. And yes, that is how we're starting this book.
yeah.
That's number 2. Actually, number 3 was when we got the boy's point of view and they got her here for revenge. And I was like, not here for that, but we'll get there.
Yeah, we struggle with bullying.
So then he's putting a water bottle up to her lips and giving her some water and telling her to just do what he says and they'll all have a good time. It's Jack, by the way, if it wasn't obvious. And he's there with men named Caden and Silas, and they have this all planned as some sort of payback, retribution for her for something she's done, all ominous sounding. They want to break her, but he was not expecting her to react against him as he touched her. He wanted her to beg and plead first. And he runs his hand down her right arm where the prosthetic meets her flesh, and she leans into him and he says he's got her, and now his friends are going to join them. They want to watch. Just keep her eyes open and he'll take care of her as he licks her ear. Harlow's really confused, especially with her own reaction as she watches men come in wearing masks. The man behind her introduces the masked newcomers as Strangler and Butcher, and then tells her his name is Groomer. Jack, aka Groomer, tells her to keep her eyes on the men or he will do it for her. As Strangler gets on his knees and Butcher unbuckles his belt. Caden, aka Strangler, sucks Silas, aka Butcher's dick. And then Jack blindfolds Harlow as he continues to run his hands slowly along her skin. Jack asks her why she likes it so much being touched like that. She says she's touch starved, that nobody has touched her since her brother's been gone. That sounded so creepy. I'm not going to lie. Why did we have to create it like that? What were you doing with your brother?
We probably don't want to know what
I
she's doing
don't.
with her brother.
Apparently,
So,
nobody's giving her any attention. People only see her a disability, and he says that they'll give her what she needs tonight. They'll feed her up until she's plump for slaughter.
I okay.
As Caden finishes up, he then goes over to her as Jack tells her to open her legs. Strangler hikes up her dress and then starts to eat her out through her underwear. Jack wants to know how wet she is and asks her, and she says she doesn't know, that she can't, and he thinks she's just being out of her mind with pleasure and all that. But then when he tells her not to come until he says, she scoffs and asks if he really thinks that they can make her come. And he's just confused. She's literally known around town as having fucked every guy under 30. And he just wants to know why then and why,
What a thing to be known for.
right? And he wants to know if she doubts his ability or hers. And she's just grasping at words, saying she won't and she's never and not since they. And she's just rambling. And then Silas calls over and says that his boy Strangler will get her there. But she needs to tell him who raped her. And then we just wild turn, just shoop, shoop, shoop. Yep. Everyone freezes. And she just says she doesn't want to talk about it. Are we all forgetting she's strung up like a pig and held captive from these people?
Um, Yeah.
I think so. Jack sucks in a breath, making her realize that they didn't actually know that fact, and she just confirmed it for him. Butcher says she said they, so there are more than one, and asks how many, as Groomer is snarling and angry. Butcher tells Groomer to back up and tells Harlow that nobody's going to touch her until she gives those names. She asks if they'll go back to what they were doing, if she does. Bitch. What?
Why?
Right. Like, I. This was a fever dream, a weird,
Yeah.
like, drug induced fever dream.
Yeah.
He says, just give him the names and she can forget all about them. And the boys will go right back and she'll be in Happy Land.
Okay. That's Happy
Yeah.
Land.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He says he'll keep the names safe and then he'll give them back. If she needs them, just tell him. And she whispers, Michael and Greg. He tells her good girl and kisses her forehead and then he's gone. Groomer is back, holding her from behind, even though he's shaking, seeming angry, and Wrangler is back between her legs, running his hands up and down them, having taken her underwear off. Groomer says he's sorry that he should have been there and he should have saved her and that it won't happen again, and he's got her. But he says her name, and she asks how he knows her name. And they say they know a lot about her. Be a good girl and let them get back to what they were doing. And tell them if she doesn't like something. And they get back to it, and she starts to get in her head again, and Butcher calls her out on it again, and she just apologizes, saying she doesn't feel much down there. That once he stopped touching her through the underwear, it kind of numbed it for her. And Butcher takes off his scarf and puts that in between, and that's better. Just going with it. That's
I
okay.
just
Going with it.
I think it's
It
interesting.
would have worked in a different, I don't know.
Oh, I mean, I'm just also super distracted by the fact that one of them's name is Groomer, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, did you not get to that part? Because I'm just
Uh-uh.
skipping over all that.
No, you're good.
He's groomer because he basically
No,
like,
I know. I
yeah, groomed
assumed.
her as a
I'm
kid.
just
Yeah.
saying interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. He
yeah.
recognizes what he is and they think it's funny.
Yeah, ha, hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Harlow's in shock and sobs her way through an orgasm, and Jack licks the tears off her cheeks. So that one's for Crystal. And Silas pulls Caden back to play with him, and Jack takes Harlow, telling her he's going to fuck her now, not because she deserves it, but because he wants to. And he's been waiting for this. And he just hikes up her dress and slams into her from behind in one go. And he has a Jacob's ladder, and she calls him out on the pain and asks why it feels different. And he says he'll explain it to her later and he'll show it to her after.
I'll
Don't worry.
explain it to you when you're older.
Right.
All right.
Caden also has a piercing that can be seen across the room as Silas has Caden on all fours in front of him as he's preparing to fuck him, and then they do their thing. And Harlow's actually enjoying it, wondering what the fuck. And after Jack finishes, she comes down from her high fast and realizes her number one rule has been broken: sex without protection. And how now her oxy is gone and her plans are derailed. And suddenly, this is a much bigger deal than it was before. She's panicking and asks him to untie her. She's wondering if she can even do it now that her choice of poison is gone, because she still wants to die, but she's not sure what the best choices are. And Jack comes around in front wearing a mask of his own and asks, what's the matter? But he reminds her even the voice is familiar, like Jack that she once knew. She's trying to look through the mask to see if his eyes are green like Jack's, but she's already freaking out and she just needs to focus and says she needs to go. She's the rest of her pills and to be left alone. Butcher asks why the change. She seemed to be enjoying herself, and Harlow says that he should have used a condom. Groomer says he won't knock her up. He's sterile. To calm down.
Don't tell me to calm down.
She says that's not the point. She's tired of this game. She wants to see who they are and she wants to go home. They had their fun with the armless girl. They can go back to their friends and brag about it. Just let her go. Groomer says fine. He'll untie her. She can see him without the mask. He works the harness free and says she can see who he is, but she has to catch him first. And the men run. Silas is frustrated. Why are they playing tag? This isn't part of the plan. Jack says they'll talk. Just get to the basement. It's the last place she'll go. Silas and Caden, once downstairs, accuse Jack of going soft on her and wanting to let her go, but that this affects all of them. He needs to see the big picture. Jack just says, what if there's another way? Silas says that if he can figure something out before morning, if only they'll have more time to make her pay, but if not, he's going through with the original plan, that she's not worth it. Nobody is, and he'll consider other options, but only if Jack agrees that they all go as planned until then. They may feel sorry for her, but that doesn't wipe out what she did. Jack says he'll be the one to show his face. The rest of them can wait until they're ready. She likes being scared. And since she'll know who he is, it'll be better that way. It'll spice things up. Harlow, instead of chasing them, was just trying to find a way out of the house. Everything is locked. She's even tried to break windows, but she's clearly being messed with because she's like, is this place really actually haunted? Because she tries to break it with objects, but the objects fly out of her hands. And then doors are being shut, and then Groomer has her trapped in a room saying trick or treat, and then she sees him without the mask and sees that it's Jack. And she doesn't understand. She says, but he's dead. And Jack rises off the floor floating and says, yes. And
Mm.
he reaches out for her and she shrieks and runs and he laughs. She finds herself in the kitchen, and then another voice asks if she's all right. And she sees Silas and Caden, and they're supposed to be dead too.
Well, apparently everybody's dead.
Caden says, long time no see. He says that if she gets caught, she'll be fucked. So if she doesn't want that, not to run. Silas gets closer to her, grinning, and she just yells out that they're dead as Silas launches himself towards her to kind of like, and she runs, not being able to help it. And Caden just says, Jack, she's running.
Oh my God, that would creep me the fuck out. And I'd be like, nope, we're done.
She's wondering if any of this is real. Is she hallucinating from the pills? Is she dead?
I would probably wish I was dead at that point.
Caden's hands even reach through a door and grab her at one point, and then Jack wraps his hands around her through a wall and catches her and tells her she is his. No more running, and then pushes her against the wall, hiking up her dress and entering her hard. And then he unzips her dress and takes it off of her. She runs her hands along his body and asks if he's a ghost as he takes off her bra. He fucks her, and when he's done, Caden cleans her up with his tongue. And then calls himself daddy because he thinks it's funny because he's 44. Just letting that sit for a minute. Yeah.
This is a different kind of Halloween scary story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then he has her get down on all fours so he can fuck her ass. She's nervous about it, so Caden has Jack get in front of her and he instructs her to use Jack's dick as a pacifier, to suck on the end to help her relax.
Because that's how that works.
I mean, I could see it. Silas is all huffy while Caden works his fingers into her, saying it wasn't supposed to be like this. She wasn't supposed to enjoy it. He gets Jack. He's a goner. But Caden asks if he's jealous. Silas says, that's not the point. This is not what they agreed on. Caden agrees that it's not, but it's what he wants. That Silas will get his turn and he can do whatever he wants. They won't hold him back. Caden fucks her ass as Jack fucks her mouth, and when they're done, she asks Jack what happens now. Will they finally tell her how they're here? And he just says that there won't be any secrets left at the end. Silas asks if she knows how they died. She says they were shot, that Noah died too. And then she asks where he is, looking around. Silas says that he's gone for good. And she's really saddened about that for a moment because she really wants to see her brother again, like
Yeah.
more than these people. And Silas asks if she wants to know what happened that night. She says to tell her. And we get a flashback in Silas's point of view of the four of them at the haunted house and Noah all tense and them getting out of Noah that some drug lord named Vladimir, who they stole 100 grand from the year prior, found them and knows about it. And the rest of them want to go and run and get away from him, but Noah says that he's not going anywhere. He's got Harlow, and nothing's confirmed anyways. He's not going to run and force Harlow to leave everything behind just on a hunch. And then the door thuds open, and a guy in black with a gun shoots Noah, and Caden shoots the guy. Silas tells Harlow that Noah's dying words were to please take care of Harlow, and they promised, because when a friend is dying on the floor in a puddle of blood, you promise them whatever they want. And then he goes on to explain that more of Vladimir's goons came later, and one shot Caden in the leg and then in the skull. Jack was shot 3 times, and Silas was shot in the stomach. And he tells her how the goons gloated over Silas's dying body, how he was bleeding out as they kicked him until he died, and they told him who ratted them all out. He made a promise, and it has bound him even in death because he promised to protect her, and now he's here, unable to die and trapped in this horrible prison. So she is his unfinished business. Harlow's very overwhelmed, and
I don't know if protecting her means fuck her, but okay.
she knows that by the time they woke up as spirits, she was already broken and there wasn't anything left to protect. But is she truly to blame for them being trapped? She needs a minute and says she's going to the bathroom, trying to keep the tears from overflowing. She takes a cold shower while she's there and just tries to chill out. And then she walks back in on the men arguing with each other and Silas saying he can't just let her off the hook, that he needs closure. And so do they. And then they notice her, and Silas's smile is creepy, and he has a knife in his hand, and he says that when he laid on the floor, bleeding out, he found out something very interesting. That one day, a young man went into a bar where he met a girl, and that girl was eager to get fucked. She was only 20, but she hung out there all the time, and he found her willing. And after he got off, they talked. She was very talkative, wanted someone to listen to her, and he was a good listener. And then a few months later, that man joined Vladimir. And when they talked about girls that he could get around town, he mentioned the girl who kept loose tabs on, and he mentioned something that the girl had told him. See, the girl wore a prosthetic, and because he was listening to her, she even told him how much it cost and how her brother got it for her, how he slaved away at a low-paying job to keep her fed, and finally, he surprised her with this very expensive, custom-made prosthetic just for her, just before Halloween, not even a month after Vladimir got robbed. So when the guy told Vladimir about it, Vladimir did some snooping into the brothers' finances. And that little talk with that little slut got them all killed. So it's her fault Noah's dead, and it's her fault they all died. Her promiscuity and need for attention got them killed. Harlow sinks to her knees and wails. So basically, they were going to
Steal her like.
touch her and whore her out, like, because that's, oh, you wanted it this bad. This is what
Yeah.
until, yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause
Jack tries to go,
that's how things
yeah,
should go.
right. Jack tries to go to her to hold her, but she fights him off, kicking, scratching him. Nothing he says is penetrating in, and then she launches herself at Silas, grabbing the knife as she slashes it across her wrist. She raises it to do it again, but they manage to wrestle it out of her hand. Silas holding her tight as she's trying to fight him off, and then Jack's pissed because Silas did all that, and now he's sitting here holding her and trying to help her, binding her arm and telling her he's sorry after all that. But also, the whole talk brought everything back to the surface for him, too, because he hates her and loves her at the same time, and he wants to hurt her for hurting him. It's all very confusing for him. It's all very confusing for me, too, because it's ridiculous. Finally, Harlow peters out, feeling so hollow and numb. She tries to get up and tells Silas to let her go. He tells her he's sorry and to let him make it better. She says no as he tries to tighten his hold. He says he was taught that if he breaks something, he has to fix it. She says, fine, fix it. How does she set them free? He says that they're more alike than she knows and that she fucked up and she wants to suffer. Does she want him to punish her? He's been planning this punishment for 2 years. Will she really tell him no? She says he can do whatever he wants to her. Jack tries to tell her no, that he's going to hurt her. She says she's already broken. He says, not like this. Once they start, nothing will stop them. She says, do what they want. She's not going to ask them to stop. Yeah, this sounds like fun,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
They spank her, and then Silas fucks her ass with a knife handle. Jack tries to baby her, and she says no. And Silas tells him to lay it all out, how he really feels about that night and everything. And she says, do it. So he says that it was bad enough watching her hop from dick to dick, but then she had to have hope on her face, giving her heart too. That's what that got them all killed. None of them wanted it. She just offered it on a silver platter. They fucked her and threw her away, and through all that he loved her, and she didn't even see it, and she didn't even show up. Why didn't she show up? He pulls Harlow in front of him and asks if she's really going to get off on being treated like trash, that she's soaked. And Caden comes over and she says to make it hurt. And Caden pulls her onto his lap to impale her. And then Jack comes up behind her and fucks her ass. And Silas comes up next to them and asks Harlow how it feels. And she just says it doesn't hurt enough and looks at him and says, please. And he grabs the knife and stabs her in the arm. He
The
calls her a
fuck?
whore for punishment and asks if this is better than her sad little pile of pills, and says she's beautiful when she suffers, licking the blood that's flowing down her arm off her skin. And then he goes up to her mouth with his mouth full of her blood and bites her lip so that it's all mingling. And then everyone comes, and Silas asks if that helped or if she can think of something else that could top that. And she just says death. This is what you made me read, Crystal. I'm not even done yet.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, okay?
Happy Halloween.
I never get to break you.
I'm just
You've
like, what the
broken me
fuck?
so many times.
I think that's the worst part. I was just like, well, here we are.
Good Lord. Okay.
Silas says that they'll get to that, the killing, the death part. Silas feels weird that he kind of wants to dominate her himself. And that's strange to him because he's not really into that at all. Women. But he tells her to crawl to him, and she does. And then he tells her to suck his dick, and he fucks her face, asking why. Why her? Why does it have to be her? As he maneuvers her onto her stomach and fucks her ass hard. Once he comes, because he's still only an ass man, because ass. Once he comes, he says that he guesses that he can do one more round with all four of them, and then it'll finally be time to die. She fights him, trying to get him off of her, asking, why did they even stop her? Why did they take her choice away? And then we get a flashback of them realizing they're dead and they're trapped. And that's because they swore to protect Harlow, and how they just know that she'll be back at that house at some point in her life with her life in danger, and they're not allowed to leave until they save her. They don't know how they know that. They just know, and how Silas explained to them that they're all dead because of her. And they all angrily make a plan for this all to happen. They're going to end her together on their terms.
Okay.
And now
Crazy
how,
people.
right? And now how after 2 years of waiting, they have their bodies back for 24 hours only, which honestly doesn't make any sense to me. Because if this was like a Halloween thing, like a Dia de los Muertos thing,
Hmm.
this is the second Halloween. So, but they're saying it was just this one night to be able to save her, and they just know. I don't know, whatever. And what there were a lot of unknowns. Who knows? I don't know. She doesn't understand why they didn't just let her take the pills. You need her to die, you know? Silas says revenge.
Of course.
They had
Why
plans for
not?
her, you know? And they had
Whatever.
different plans than this went. She says she deserved it, she guesses. And Silas says no, that they punished her enough. And what's done is done. And they
Okay.
need to focus on the next steps.
Okay.
They were planning to kill her, but that has changed now. Jack thinks they figured out a way that might work, so she could stay with them as a ghost and they could all stay together. Because now they want her. Go figure. Jack asks her if that's what she wants, and she says that she doesn't know. But after a while, she ends up nodding and says just to make it quick. Silas pulls Caden aside to say their goodbyes just in case it doesn't work the way they want it to, and they fuck each other. Harlow's left with Jack and asks how they're going to do it so that she can be a ghost like them. And he says simple. They made a promise to Noah, and he's thinking that if she also made a promise to them, that maybe it would work. And she wants to know if they'll be able to leave this place. And he says he doesn't know. He doesn't know if it'll work. He doesn't know anything, clearly. And
I love that clearly.
he wants to know why she didn't come that night. Did she just not want to? And she says she wanted to. He says, why? Did she not have the balls to break up with the loser boyfriend? And then it dawns on him with the names from before. And he says, no. She broke up with him on the phone, right? She didn't go to him. And she says she wanted to do the right thing. She thought it was right to do it in person. But he didn't like her breaking up with him. And Greg was there and they were drunk, but not too drunk to do anything. And it all happened so fast. And then she heard the sirens as she was making her way home. And she was just crying in her bed, waiting for Noah to come home. But then he didn't. And instead, the police came. And the one who came and told her was Michael's father. So, couldn't do anything then. And she says she wanted to be with Jack. It just seemed like she could have something good. And he's pissed because she was only doing that because he told her to. And she says, it's okay. It's over. She doesn't want to spend her last hours on Earth thinking about that night. He says that they can spend it a better way. He tells her to take off her prosthetic and then he fucks her as he kisses every inch of her skin. And as Silas and Caden rejoin them, Jack says, one last ride, all of them. And Silas says he'll take Caden's ass while he fucks Harlow's mouth and Jack fucks Harlow. So they do that. And Silas holds off. So they do that.
Oh, fuck, dude.
Silas holds off, telling Harlow not to swallow, and instead kisses it out of her and then pushes her up against the wall and fucks her ass to finish himself off. As he fucks her, he tells her that the same thing happened to him that happened to her. He was in jail when he was 22 for 2 years, and when he got there, his arm was broken, so he couldn't defend himself properly, and 5 guys took him and took advantage of him for weeks. He says that he got 2 of them when he got out, and one was run over, but there are still 2 left that he'll never get, never finish the job. But hey, if they stay ghosts, maybe she can help haunt them.
Okay.
Yeah. Silas goes and gets the knife and says it's time.
It is time. Sorry.
Harlow is fading because this has been a lot. And she was stabbed repeatedly. I mean, just throwing it out there. Anyways, Jack and Caden don't want to be there for it, but Jack says to wait, that she has to make the promise. And Silas says, hurry. They're almost out of time. And Harlow says that she promises to stay with him always here in this world, not even in death that will they part. Jack says same. And then she turns to Caden, says the same thing to him. And he says he'll always protect her like he promised. And then she does the same for Silas. And he says he already made his promise to her. They'll go after both their people and haunt them, blah, 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 blah. And then the 2 of them go out to the hall by the door, which I don't know why they're going to the door, but whatever. And Harlow thanks Silas for being the one to do it, and she says that she probably couldn't do it herself now. She's too exhausted, and he tells her to turn around. And she had gotten back dressed so that she could die dressed. So she's clothed, and he unlocks the front door, which again, I don't know why. Go figure. And he tells her goodbye, and she feels the knife pressed against her, and then it's gone. and she hears a voice from outside the porch saying, "She's here." But it's not any of the ghost men. And then the door opens, revealing 3 men. Michael, leading them, comes in saying that someone saw her go in there, slurring his voice and smelling like alcohol, saying they came to get her. Perfect way to end a Halloween night. She says not to touch her. One of the men is Greg, and the other is a man named Brian, who she had ditched earlier that night. That now it feels like forever ago, and she runs, trying to figure out where her ghosts are as she's yanked back by the hair. She manages to get free and runs and grabs a frying pan and tells Michael to stop or she'll hit him. She's not sure where the other 2 went, and he laughs at her, saying she's right-handed, and he knows that she can't do anything with that ugly piece of plastic, and she growls, knowing it's not ugly or plastic, and it's definitely not useless, and he comes at her and she swings, but he grabs her. Jack is pissed, watching from the doorway, but Silas told him to let her fight her own battle. She needs to rewrite her own story and know she can save herself. He watches as Harlow knees Michael in the crotch, but Jack does not allow him to swing his fist at her head. He goes over and grabs to stop it, allowing Harlow to get in some good punches, breaking Michael's nose, hitting him over and over, asking if he's having fun yet, how he must like it, not to pretend like he doesn't. And Jack finally gets her to stop, raining punches down as Silas grabs Michael, leading him out of the room to the basement where his friends are waiting with Caden. The basement is a lot more soundproof.
You
I
need
don't
to
know.
hide the screams.
Silas asks Harlow if she wants to do more, and she says yes. And Jack says that they don't have much time, 1 hour tops. And Harlow stomps on dicks and carves rapist with the knife into them, and then stabs Michael in the stomach, killing him. And then Jack crashes to the floor, his body spasming. They feel like they must be out of time. Silas is breaking the other's kneecaps, and Harlow's trying to wake Jack up, and she tells Silas just to kill her before it's too late. And he says no, he don't think he can kill her now.
Okay, what? Wasn't that the whole point?
Yeah. He says he's sorry. She says they had a deal. What is she supposed to do? He says she should probably get an
Live?
iron. Yeah.
Ew.
Well, no, he says she should probably get an ironclad alibi for the night.
Hmm.
Like, what? She's like, what the fuck?
I
He
would be
says
like, what the fuck?
she'll be
Like,
free after the night. That's all
bitch, you
they ever
told me you were
wanted.
gonna kill me. What the fuck, man? Let me
They want,
die.
right. They want her to enjoy life for both of them, for all of
No.
them. She begs him, saying she can't go out there without them. He says that being a ghost is shitty. She's so young. I want to point out that the entire book, because Silas and Caden are so old, all they do is talk about how young she is because she's fucking tiny and young. And yeah,
Yet that doesn't stop them from,
absolutely not.
banging
At
her.
first, it was just because they were ghosts. And yeah.
Yeah.
She says that's the entire point of the night. They've planned it for 2 years. They can't stop now. He says she shouldn't have made it easy for them to fall for her. It's her fault. She made them care. She says, then help her.
Yeah,
Just as
duh.
Jack wakes up.
Mm.
He feels different. And then his stomach grumbles with hunger. And Silas and Caden look at him like, what the fuck? And Jack tries to turn invisible and he can't. Jack asks if when Michael died, if they saw that weird thing over his mouth. And Silas says, yeah. And Jack says, yeah, he kind of swallowed it. Maybe they should do it too when they kill the others. Silas is losing his patience and
I'm
asks
losing my
why.
mind.
I lost my mind several times. Yeah, if you think this, try reading it. Yeah.
Maybe I will read it just so that I can
Just
be like, Ariel, I'm so sorry.
or you could be like, no, you're not that crazy, Ariel. This is actually what happened.
That is true because y-
Yeah.
sometimes
This could have
you
been a fever
are
dream for
being a
me.
bit much, but also sometimes you're not actually lying. So who knows?
Not usually, but um Jack says he's not sure. Like what's going on. So they end up killing Greg, and then the silver light comes out and Caden swallows it. And then he hits the floor.
There's
Silas
so
is
much going
freaking
on that I
the
don't
fuck
know what is
out.
happening.
Jack says that he thinks they swallowed their souls,
Okay.
or
When
maybe their life force or something.
I mean, I could see that with the light, but okay.
Silas starts slowly disappearing because his time is actually running out, so they bring him quickly over to Ryan to do the same thing.
Okay.
When they're all awake later, Harlow's giving them some water. Jack is still unsure whether it was life force or something like that. He doesn't know, but all he knows is that they took them and those guys are dead. Now they're alive. And they
Okay.
all want to know what they're going to do now. They realize they have to clean up the crime scene because now their fluids are all over the house. They aren't just like ghosts anymore. They're like real. At least on paper,
I'm a real
the
boy.
boys, the men are officially dead. So they realize they have to get Harlow a new ID. And then they're going to go far, far away and find a new place to live together, the four of them. So they get working on cleaning up and finding the bleach and plan to leave after it's dark because it's now light out because it's officially the next morning. And when it is dark enough, Caden says he knows a place and they can walk there. It's also where he hid the portion of his money. He buried it in the garden, and this place is used as a vacation home, so they'll be okay for a little bit. And then they get so much needed rest. Harlow wakes up to Jack fucking her with a condom on because he's not a ghost anymore.
Okay.
Yep. And Silas is orchestrating the whole thing because he had teased Jack quite a bit because there were many times in their exchanges where Jack and Caden were a little close and Jack found he wasn't too mad about it. Just in the same way that Silas wasn't super mad about being close to Harlow. So Silas wants to push his buttons and explore that a little more, and Caden says that it's the four of them together. Everything is allowed between the four of them, and only the four of them. So Silas instructs Jack on how to suck him off as Caden eats Jack's ass. And then Harlow sucks Caden's dick, and when the boys are done, Jack fucks Harlow again, and they all tell each other they love each other, and then we have an epilogue. And the epilogue is 2 years later. Silas is killing the last name on his list. He did the fourth one a year prior, and now all the rapists are gone. And then we have a bonus bit. Nope. Then we have
Bonus bitch.
the last bit, which is an extra part of the story. So originally, this book was put out as 3 novellas and an additional bonus novella afterwards, which I almost wish we had done it that way because then I wouldn't have read any more of them. But here we are. So we read 4 and 1. You're welcome. This is the fourth one, the bonus one. And it's an extra part. The characters are 2 months after everything went down at Christmas time. And they're all settled across the country in a 3-bedroom house together. Caden and Silas both hid their stash of the money really well, and it gave them a good start. Jack and Harlow usually stay in the same room, and Caden and Silas usually stay in the same room unless Caden has to work overnight, and then Harlow stays in her own room, and Silas stays with her because he doesn't like to sleep alone. They've been trying to keep low profile. They found low profile jobs, and the men surprise Harlow after she gets home from work one day with the fact that they emptied out Jack's room and put 2 massive mattresses to fill the entire floor wall to wall to fit all 4 of them. They end up putting on creepy Christmas masks, which is something Harlow had been asking for, and Jack sucks Caden's dick. Silas spanks Harlow, and then Harlow fucks Jack's dick and
I'm sorry.
eats his ass. What?
It's just the way you said it. Fucks his dick.
Oh. Then Harlow sucks Jack's dick and eats his ass,
Okay.
while Caden does the same to Silas, mirroring each other. And then Caden puts a plug in Harlow's ass, and Silas tells them enough with the masks, and Caden takes out a wand to play with Harlow, while Silas fucks Jack because Jack says he's ready. And then Harlow straddles Caden, and Silas comes up behind her to fuck her ass at the same time that Jack fucks her mouth, so they can all take her at once together, and that is how we end the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody feel bad for Ariel.
Just the bully romance is just not my thing. And
No,
okay,
we
I can get into it if it's done right, I guess, but it's just not my favorite. by far.
No, and honestly, like we've done a couple, and I have a really hard time with the bully ones a
Yeah.
lot. And especially when, because typically with the bully romance, they really do have like the darker undertones and stuff like that. And for the longest time, I could not do the dark books at all. Um, this sounds like a trip that you had that you probably never want to go on again.
Yeah.
So sorry.
You know,
Forgive me. I love you.
it's always an adventure. We always
Yeah.
just go on adventures, right? You know?
You know what? I'm sorry, but I'm also not sorry because you have made me read some things that I wish I could unread.
But here's the thing, I always read it with you.
That is true. One of these days,
Solidarity.
Ariel is going to not read it
I
and
know.
not tell me. And I think that that will be a really funny day because I
Yes,
probably
but
won't know.
there's also I think I have the FOMO maybe, and I'm like, I want to know too, because I'm nosy bitch.
Right. Well, yeah, there's that.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I can do it to you.
It'll be like, oh my God, that happened? Weird.
And you'll be like, it'll be, no, because my luck, it'll be on a time that you actually need help. Because you'll be like, no, I actually, wait, help me with this. Or like, was weird. Because there'll be certain things sometimes where you're like, wait, this was a weird part. Can you, and I'll be like, I don't know.
Once in a while, yeah, there is something, especially if it's written
But
really
vice
fucking.
versa, we both, you know,
Yeah. Well, sometimes you just ask me if I think that you're crazy. Like
that's true.
if you're like, did I go crazy here or like was this terrible?
Well, sometimes I, it's funny because sometimes I read when I probably shouldn't be at night too.
Hmm.
And I will be so exhausted that I'll realize that I have no idea what just happened the last so many chapters.
Oh yeah.
And that has
Sometimes
happened a
I
couple
feel like
times.
I feel sometimes like I black out.
That's what I mean. And I'm like, and I'm not gonna lie, it happened to me a couple nights ago, and I had to go back because I realize, and I do it all the time, and I have to go back and I'm like, I have no idea what's happening or where I am because it's not that it's not
I've had to go
interesting or
back in books
anything. It's just
before.
that I'm just so exhausted that I
Hmm.
have literally no idea. And I feel like I'm probably fading and I don't realize it.
Yeah.
So,
Crazy. Well, so
yeah,
this will be interesting. Did you have a favorite character at all?
the prosthetic or Noah,
Oh my God.
maybe Noah,
Okay. How about a least favorite? Is it the creepy dude?
Michael. Yeah.
Okay. You know, though, I did like the cover. The
Yeah.
cover is really cool.
And I will
That might
say
have
that
been partially why I picked it, to be
it's
so honest.
it's bummer that I don't know how far you made it, but it's a bummer because there is art throughout
Gotcha.
and it's actually nice art. I don't know if it's like legit or not, but
Mhm.
it is pretty and we get it pretty fast. Like I think at the end of a lot of the chapters we get it.
Okay. All right. So Amazon gives us a 4.1, Goodreads a 3.7, and Storygraph a 3.5. How mean are you gonna
Listen,
be? I'm listening.
maybe I'll change my mind. Well, originally I was thinking I was going to give it 1 star just simply because I would have DNF'd it myself originally
Hmm.
because of the ages. But I'm wondering if I should give it 2 stars just because it had stuff.
Okay.
But I don't know. I feel like the DNFing was sufficient. Like I would have DNF'd it.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the
Bully.
the age thing would have been the top for me.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was yeah.
It's just not for me. And that's okay
No,
that,
and honestly,
you know,
but that's the thing is like we've always said like our ratings are just based off of our own personal opinion. And while this
yeah,
may not be for us, this could be for other people. And we respect that because obviously everyone has different tastes in books. Like there's stuff that Ariel likes that I don't like. So like sometimes, you'll read a book that maybe I won't like and I'll read books that you don't like because I do more I can read more fantasy than you
right.
can. You do not do the fantasy genre. But so like
It's
that
not that I don't do it. I just haven't much,
right. But
which
but
is why
it's just
I'm,
one of those
yeah.
things like, some everybody has different types of books that they enjoy and not
Hmm.
everybody is going to like those. So while this is
Yeah.
not for us, this could be for other people, especially
And
if you
but
like
there
the
were
bully
things
romance.
that were fine, but it's just there were so many pieces that took me out of it.
Yeah.
Like the writing wasn't super awesome and there were holes and it was just weird things that didn't make sense or connect together and
Yeah.
it was a bummer.
Awesome. How about a pepper?
We had toys. We had multiple holes. We had multiple people. We had masks. We had chasing. We had, and a lot of the book was spice.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm gonna say it's a cayenne and a half.
Okay.
If it would have been written a little better, it would have been a habanero for me
Okay.
because the ratio was there.
Yeah. That's good. Would you survive?
I feel like I wouldn't even be there to begin with.
Fair.
I probably,
Fair.
I just
I
like,
just
I would have never made it to that house.
yeah.
So I guess I'd be alive.
I'd be okay. Awesome. Cool.
Oh, man, what a
Yo.
freaking month. This is wild.
Yeah,
We have one more.
we do.
And next week, we're not going to give you a blurb because next week, Crystal and I are being joined by Angie. Woo-hoo. And the three of us are coming together and bringing you mini novellas that we are talking about one each. So join us next week for our Halloween minis on actual Halloween day.
Yeah.
Make sure to keep reading.
And keep it smutty.
He pulls Harlow. He pulls Har. He pulls Harlow. And Silas holds off telling Harlow not. And Silas holds off telling blah, 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 blah. But oh fuck.
Oh, fuck.